Hi all, this is Sathish. So today's topic for discussion is like what's the difference between Scrum and Kanban, and when do we use Scrum or Kanban? Maybe with some examples, and also in which cases are something like this. Both this can be combined, saying like Scrum Ban. So let's start with understanding difference between Scrum and Kanban. So Scrum is like is used to used like we will plan out a release planning. We don't know upfront the changes based on the market conditions. There may be changes record once we start with any product or the service development. So uh, upfront, like we will have a release planning, then we will plan small pieces of work like in iteration or sprints for 2 to 4 weeks, and based on the development team completes and delivers, we will get the feedback. Based on that feedback and also the market conditions, uh, we will actually maybe we will revise our plan and go with that. This is where actually mostly the Scrum is used. On the other hand, like Kanban, it's used for like continuous flow of work items, like there may be like mostly as an example we can consider like this can be used in production support teams or some type of repetitive work that team is doing again and again. uh, Maybe there may be like in case of Scrum, like we will have that events, like we will have that planning. We will plan for 2 weeks or for, then we will have a daily Scrum to inspect and adapt what the team has done for the day, and what's their plan for the next day. And at the end of the sprint, we demo, and based on that feedback and market condition, we again plan for the next sprint, and also we have a retrospective uh, to improve the team process. So this how actually that in terms of Kanban, I mean, it's mostly going to be repetitive work. Maybe there cannot be much planning, but outside of the team, right? There will be some Kanban replenishment meeting will happen where the business team uh, business team can prioritize the backlog which is needed based on the cost of delay. uh, so which can be needed for the business that's going to have a high impact, so that can be delivered. So maybe we will see both of these with an example. So let's take for a Scrum. So for example, let's consider an healthcare insurance company. So the uh, organization decides to introduce a new plan. So but they also want to understand from the customer perspective how they want to do. So maybe let's first, they will start actually with a new plan of introducing in a particular state first, in a state that to like only for new customers they can introduce that too. They can sell this policy only through the agents, so instead of selling in the online, that's the direct to customers. So this way, like the maybe let's consider to as part of release planning, they will have that called the MVP one, the minimum viable product. The first part, they want to sell to few customers and try out, get the feedback, and based on their feedback, if it goes everything, maybe in the next release or maybe they can plan out to expand the business to other states, and based on the feedback and the market conditions, and also at the same time they can try to introduce this time like in online, where the customers can directly where the customers can directly buy from their online product online. So this what, and as a third release, once this all goes right, if they see some sort of benefit, and the organization for the investment they made, they are going to make a return if they see, then they can consider this expanding it to the existing customers also as part of the next release, like saying like for example like for existing company, if one wants to switch from that existing plan to this new plan, that option can be introduced. So this is where like I feel like a scrum can be used. Maybe another example, I think it's also similar example which I have encountered, like there was one of the banking client, they want to introduce a new product, credit card in, for example, let's take in Singapore region where they don't have such a product. It was very successful in another market region, but when they are introducing, they can't just take actually similar one. And so before that they had some study, but and also tried with the same way, like tried with few customers only selling few products, then based on their feedback they come with the modified version of the product, and they did phase by phase release, and finally the product was very successful. This is all about, I think, where we use from this one of the example. And coming to like the Kanban, right? Kanban, like, Kanban, it's used for like continuous actually flow of work items. So based on the cost of delay, so where business can expect there will be no upfront planning, but actually on the Kanban we have to identify the series of steps involved, maybe using the VSM, the value stream mapping. So maybe for example, let's consider I want to send a courier from a person A to B. So he would first like from his home, he would take out and go to the nearest courier office. He will send that, maybe a step one. Step two, like from the courier office it will reach to the nearest head office. From there that transit of 1 or 2 days, and finally it will again go to the head office of that city where it's going to be delivered. From there it will go to the nearest branch office, and from there it will get delivered. So in this, if you take, maybe there are 4-5 steps, so we can actually divide that into this 4 or 5 steps, and based on the existing flow we can arrive at how do we eliminate that uh, uh, time. So the waste, actually usually you can call in terms of like waste, how can we eliminate. So this where actually mostly Kanban is used, and also main focus on Kanban is to limit the work in progress items. That's like in a step how many maximum. It's nearly like once the work is completed in a step only he can take. That's like the pull system we call. So uh, generally I think this is where used. So apart from that, there are actually there are 4 class of services, or we can see in actually our Jira or Kanban rally board. You will see that swim lanes, right? That what is the expedite results, and then fixed date delivery on the standard, and on the last one is like intangible. Maybe let's see all these 4 actually with an example. So expedite is something the business is going to stop having high cost of delay. It's like you are working on a project. So for example, your laptop crashes immediately, you need an immediate replacement. So that's where, like, when you contact support team, they have to expedite it and send it immediately. So this type of request, I mean, this is just an example I'm taking. Is that it can be considered as an expedient. And similarly, coming to fixed date delivery, like this is one where most of the complaints work, this has to be delivered on this date, complex delivery. So for example, let's I think we all remember some years back, like I think 3 years back, there was a day, the next day any customer in India goes, he should be able to only withdraw 2,500. It should be allowed for all accounts. So this is something like it's actually, I don't know, from my view it should be considered in both expedite and fixed date, but here it should be on the next day, so I am considering it in the fixed date delivery. Then the standard one is here, the most of our work items in the Kanban will fall under this. It will have like average to medium class of priority, priority where cost of delay will be medium. So this is where, and the last one is intangible. It's something, some, it's like, for example, let's consider, I mean, it's some sort of additional things which even with without that, like the business would be able to continue, like the uh, like some sort of format change or performance improvement sometimes. So this and all can be considered as a intangible type of record. So maybe for Kanban, let's consider maybe a real time example which I encountered. So there was one project which we are about to start, this like migrating all the reports. Now there were almost 1,000 plus reports which we want to migrate it to a new platform. It was all in the old legacy system. So the here the step is, it's like we have to first of all get the priority list of reports. Yeah, that was already done as a project before this work, this initiative started. There was a list of and that prioritization was done as I said in some sort of meeting, like the replenishment meeting we call in Kanban. So that happened. After that, we divided that into that class of services also. Like it's most of the things fits into that standard delivery. There the step by step we have done. First is step would be like to identify the business rules. Most of the reports are simple, or very few had. Sometimes we have to get out that business rule. Second step, like validate the business rule with the end users or business who are they are going to use it, or they need some changes in it. Third step, developing with the new platform. And fourth step would be like to validate both these results and compare anything. So this is how actually we formed out a team. And as I said, like most of the things fallen where that expedite and standard delivery came, that fixed date came. Was fixed date was like, as we are migrating, so any new reports generating which the other scrum team was working, right? They thought like that work, like if any new report comes, that can be done as part of this team. So that they already have a release plan. So that's where those type of records, any new report they are going to, that came to this new Kanban team as saying as a fixed delivery date. So the release is on this date, so we have to have this report, or consider some sort of like as I said, that in some sort of compliance work will come. So expedite, I think in the mostly we didn't get such, but expedite is something which needs much attention, or which have the high business impact. So those things will come. And actually finally intangible, yeah, we got some things like the like to decommissioning some of these reports. They don't need like that. Actually we took that as a last initiative that we put as intangible, or once all these are done, all these records are, then we will take that work and do I mean this decommissioning report in the existing stuff. This is how actually I from my experience working on this, we I mean this one of the Kanban team which we formed and worked. So I was only part of the team initially, then I moved out to a new Scrum team. Yeah. Yeah, and coming to that last part of today's discussion, Scrum Ban, I from my view, Mike, I didn't actually work. So I think combining both this will definitely have some benefit. Maybe I will look out for this from others' replies today. Yeah. Thank you.